Good evening, everyone. Hope y'all are doing well, having a great Thursday evening. Wanted to come to you and just give you a little video, just talking a little bit about what's ahead of us for the remainder of the course. Again, we are wrapping up really quickly. I do want to start out this video by letting you know that all of you now have feedback. I have graded and given you plenty of feedback on your scholarly article summary assignment. So all of those have been returned. I have worked on those steadily while I've been here in St. Simons this week. And I want to also thank y'all for your patience with the Turnitin issues. I'm not entirely sure what happened there, but I do know that between the folks at Turnitin and the folks at eCore and myself, we managed to get it resolved so you all could have your feedback in a really timely manner. So I do thank you for your patience with that. Again, make sure to go in, take a look at your grade, take a look at your feedback. If you have any questions about it, let me know. I'll be more than happy to clarify anything for you or have a chat with you about what I noticed. Overall, I was pretty satisfied with this particular assignment and the work that you did. This assignment is that particular assignment is a little bit different than the other response papers you've been doing, but I do think it's a really helpful exercise because if nothing else, it forces you to think a little bit about scholarly research and scholarly articles and what scholarly work looks like in conjunction with a text that you've read for this class. Again, that's work that you do in other disciplines. If you haven't already, you will be doing it soon, I would imagine. So what I want to do now is I want to transition over and actually talk a little bit about what's happening in the coming week. So what lies ahead of us? Let me make sure I've got my notes. All right, so what lies ahead of us? Let's go down here to the calendar. You all have, due tomorrow, the Unit 5 discussion board. That is the initial and the one reply. Just like all the other discussion boards, again, those are the same guidelines for all the other discussion boards. For this particular unit, you had a lot of different texts to choose from, I think even more so than you had for other units. So the beautiful part is, if there's a particular source you didn't care for or a particular writer you didn't care for, you have really a plethora of options for this particular unit. And at least in my opinion, there's not a horrible one to choose from. They're all really great. So make sure to choose a prompt, respond thoughtfully, meeting the length requirement, of course. And of course, make sure to reply thoughtfully to one of your classmates and do that by tomorrow at 11:59, and that will have you caught up on that assignment. Okay, so that is what's due tomorrow. What is due Monday? So let's go to the discussion boards. So I mentioned to you all in a video, and I believe it might have been an announcement previously, that there is one last extra credit assignment. If you go down to the extra credit opportunities board, there is an assignment that is worth up to 5 points on your response to grade. This particular extra credit assignment deals with Toni Morrison. Here is the prompt and the instructions. The instructions are specifically mentioned in bold down here. And what you'll do is you'll read through this prompt, these instructions, read through what I'm asking you to do, and then whatever you write up, you will email to me by Monday the 13th at 11:59. If I have it in my inbox in GoView by 11:59 on Monday the 13th, I will accept it, I'll grade it, give you feedback, and then award you up to 5 points for that response paper number 2 grade. That will be coming up, and I'll talk more about that here in just a second. I do want to let you know, though, keep in mind this particular board is the only extra credit assignment, is only extra credit that's going to be offered, period, for the response paper number 2. So if you would like the opportunity to earn some points, this is a really good way to do it. It's not going to take you a ton of time. There have been a good number of people who've taken advantage of other extra credit opportunities in this class. It doesn't take a lot of time, but it is really thoughtful and useful work because if nothing else, what the extra credit does is it asks you to engage a little bit more deeply with one of the authors in a particular unit. And of course, as I mentioned in my last video, I'm a huge Toni Morrison fan, so this is going to be a really good way for you to get to know her a little bit better. All right, so that is what's going to be due on Monday the 13th by 11:59. Now, the next thing that is due, let's go to content, is the response paper number 2. So let's go to Unit 5 and activities. Okay, so the response paper. This response paper is very similar to the last one in that it's going to have you focusing on one particular prompt that deals with at least one of the texts in this particular unit. So it actually deals with, I believe it's Unit 4 and 5. So what you're going to be doing here is you're going to be looking through all of these different prompts and really considering, which one resonates with you the most, which one you really enjoy the most, and respond to it thoughtfully. Making sure that you choose one of the questions. It says to make sure to copy or paste the question in there. If you can either do that on the in the Word document itself where you write your essay, or if you want to include that in the inbox, in the Dropbox. There's a place in the Dropbox where you can paste information. You can do it there as well. Doesn't really matter to me. So make sure to include that. That way I know kind of what you're responding to. It should be in typical essay format, roughly 4 to 6 paragraphs with a short introduction, a thesis statement, and supporting paragraphs with a conclusion. I am very seriously going to be looking for these things for this last paper, because this paper really serves as kind of one of the major culminating assignments for this class outside of the final exam. So this is a good place for you to really synthesize and think about all the feedback that I've given to you in discussion boards, on the first response paper, and on the scholarly article summary assignment you just completed and I just graded. Look at all that feedback, really digest it, really consider everything I've mentioned to you, and put that to use as you tackle this second response paper. So again, keep in mind what this particular essay should include. It needs to be 500 words, and of course it counts 10% of your grade. And then there are the lists of questions below that you can choose from. There are some helpful things to keep in mind down here, and one of the things that you do need to keep in mind for this particular assignment is that you will need to use MLA style. Many of you have been doing this pretty well, but I have been commenting a good bit on this over the last couple of assignments. So please, again, when you're looking at feedback and considering feedback across the board for the last couple of assignments, keep in mind content, grammar, and anything that I've commented about MLA, because again, I'm going to be looking for all of those things and grading all of that accordingly for this last assignment. So the response paper 2 is going to be due Thursday, the 16th by 11:59. Okay, and again, this particular assignment instructions is in content along with everything else that has been available for the course. The next date that I want to let you know about is the last day to submit any late work. Very few of you in this class have late work right now, which is fantastic. Makes your life a lot easier going into the end of the course, and it makes my life a lot easier too. But if you are missing something, that is okay. For every class I teach, I provide a last day, I provide a deadline basically that lets you know the last day that I will accept anything late. And that day is going to be the end of the day on Friday, July 17th. So the day after the response paper is due, I have to have everything that is late. If I do not have it by end of day, 11:59 on the 17th, if it is a 0 in the gradebook, it will remain a 0, no exceptions. I have to set that hard and fast deadline because the amount of time I have between getting the latter assignments for this class and then turning things back around to get your final grades done is really, really short. It's crazy how short it is. So just make sure to keep that in mind as you're looking to see if you're missing anything. Again, just keep in mind the 17th, end of day, Friday the 17th is going to be your deadline to get things to me. And then the very last thing I want to talk about is the final exam. Now, this final exam is just like the midterm exam in that it is not proctored. Nothing is proctored for the summer. eCore has waived all of that, which is great because the world's kind of crazy right now and we don't need anything else on our shoulders to have to think about, but also it will save you the money so that you don't have to go about scheduling a proctored session. So there is a study guide available for this particular exam, just like the midterm. It's going to be very similar in format. You're going to have 2 sections. You're going to have multiple choice, true, false. It's going to be very objective. And then there's going to be a short response that you're going to have to type up and respond. You'll be given several prompts. You'll choose one, and then you'll go about writing an essay accordingly for that. And I'll go about grading it the same way that I did the midterm. Again, it shouldn't be anything really surprising. Again, if you scroll down this particular study guide, it gives you an idea of the different sets of response questions you could receive to choose from. Again, they're all here. And the computer will randomly just select that for you. Select those options for you just like it will randomly assign the multiple choice and true-false questions. So again, that is going to be, of course, over an exam period of an exam period. Starts on the 18th and concludes on the 22nd. And your final grades should be, I will have those turned around within about 48 hours. So when I mentioned that I had a tight deadline, I really do. So just make sure to get your final exam taken within that exam period. My goal will be to grade them as they come in and provide you make sure that your grade is completed. So that's all the main reminders I wanted to give you. Now, a couple of things I do want to mention about these last assignments. I've already mentioned, give yourself time to go through feedback and really think thoughtfully about what I've given to you for all of the previous discussion boards and the 2 major writing assignments that you've had. Also, if you've had any extra credit assignments that I've got given back to you, there's feedback within those because I do provide feedback there. All of that is meant to be useful to help you as you complete this last discussion board and and the last response paper and, of course, the final exam. Utilize all of it to help you do really well on these last 3 assignments. Most of you are doing really well in the class right now. I don't really have a whole lot of complaints, but there's always room for improvement. Writing is a process, and it takes a long time to really get good at it. And I say good because there is no perfect paper. It doesn't exist. I promise you. I've tried, and some of my colleagues have tried as well. But the goal should be to produce really good writing, and some of you are. Some of y'all are doing a really good job. I just encourage you as you're moving forward to continue this good work and to continue utilizing this feedback that I've given to you so far to help you finish out the class really strong. And speaking of feedback, so the upcoming discussion board you will have for Unit 5, I will be giving you feedback. And I'll give you some feedback on the response paper number 2. But one of the things that you probably have noticed if you looked at the scholarly article summary assignment is that I slacked off on the amount of feedback I gave you. On the first response paper, I gave you almost line by line, paragraph by paragraph. For this last one, I gave you 1 paragraph or 2 paragraphs pretty detailed, and then 1 comment per paragraph. For this last response paper, the response paper number 2, you will only get an end comment from me. That's it. I'm not going to be doing any marginal or anything like that. 1, because we're at the end here and I've got to get stuff turned back into you with a grade before everything is all said and done. And 2, by this point, you all know what to work on. You've received a lot of feedback from me. Some of us have even talked about that over email. And if you want more detailed feedback after I give you a grade, of course, I can give you that. But for the most part, from here on out, I'm not going to be giving super detailed feedback. So you will get less feedback from me on this upcoming discussion board, and you'll get, again, just the end comment solely and turn it in for the response paper number 2. And then the final exam, there will be no comments or anything. I will read, assign a grade, and move on to the next student. Not that I don't want to look and give you a lot of thoughtful comments, but again, we're at the end of the class, and I want to make sure that your grades are done and finalized as quick as I can so that I can get them turned in and they can get posted to your home institutions. All right. If you have any questions about anything, let me know. I'll be happy to answer them. I am going to be heading home tomorrow from St. Simon's. I'm going to be leaving at some point in the morning. I am still going to be online for office hours, but the best way to reach me tomorrow is going to be to email me. So email me through GoView, email me through my West Georgia email. I'll respond to you there. If you try to call me, that's going to be a little bit difficult because I'm going to be coming back from South Georgia, essentially, and signal in certain areas when we're on the interstate is really, really crummy. So again, if you need anything tomorrow at office hours from 1 to 3, let me know. I'll respond. And then, of course, I'll be back at it starting Saturday, grading your Unit 5 discussion boards. I'll, of course, come to you with a final video at some point between now and the end of class, so do be on the lookout for that. And I'm always here, of course, to help you as we finish up the course. Again, I look forward to seeing more great work from you. Do take care. Get a little bit of rest here and there where you can, and I will talk to you all later. Have a good one.